I wanted to talk to you about black love.
Yes.
I feel like there is a war between black men and black women. I think that a lot of the dilemmas that get sent in from my listeners talk about, it's about women talking about struggling to find a man, struggling
to find what kind of man?
To find a black man.
What kind of black man?
What do you mean, what kind of black man?
What kind of black man? Struggling to find what kind of black man?
Okay, let's talk about it.
Black men all in Australia.
No, we have.
So what kind of black men are you struggling to find? Are you struggling to find a million?
So folks, in this video is of course our favorite Black Panther, black activist, Dr. Umar, on a podcast in Australia with, I believe, this black chick. It looks like she's from, like, it must be Ethiopia or possibly Kenya. And he was talking about pretty much what I've been saying for many times, is that the patience of the black woman, like how are black relationships, how they can be more successful black relationships in the modern era. Check it out.
Are you struggling to find somebody who's 6'3" with a six-pack stomach?
No.
Are you struggling to find someone who can finance a European expensive materialistic lifestyle?
No.
What kind of black man are you struggling to find?
Let's talk about the culture in Australia versus the culture in America. I don't think it is quite different. It is.
No, it's not.
It is. I think now we're being more influenced.
One of the biggest mistakes that I find in the diaspora is we swear we're so randomly different. As probably the most traveled African in the Western Hemisphere, we're not that significantly different.
No, but we
there
are.
Might be something new. No, we're not. No, we're not.
I don't think black women. Okay, let's talk about it, because I'm getting dilemmas where women are talking.
That's interesting what he said. He talked about the diaspora, because there's black people now in today's age all around the world, but most predominantly black people are settling in the western parts, of course, United Kingdom, America, Canada, and possibly Australia, which are, funny enough, are all places, of course, which are English-speaking countries. But of course, there's still parts in the globe that, as a black man or a black woman, if you go there, you're going to be very so outside of your comfort zone. I know this because when I was in Mexico for about a year and a half, there was very limited amount of not just black people, but just ethnic people in general. So let's continue.
About they're successful, they're in their careers, and they're looking for a decent guy. They're not asking for a man to earn triple the amount that he's earning. What is decent?
Give me 3 criteria for decent. I'm a psychologist. You must define the term. Give me 3 criteria for decent.
So he's emotionally intelligent.
Emotionally intelligent.
Okay.
Assuming she is as well.
Assuming she is as well. He is a provider. So he's able to, or he has a decent job. They are on the same.
What is a decent job? Define the term.
He makes an amount that is in the same tax bracket as the woman. Let's just say that. The same tax bracket.
Okay.
Emotionally intelligent.
Financial equity.
Yes.
Okay.
I would just say he's a provider, he's nurturing, and he cares to build a family with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so not that I'm one to complain, because excuses are for bitches at the end of the day, but 100% the whole era of, like, the man providing and pretty much taking care and him being the breadwinner has changed a lot. What the people gotta understand now is there are women who are literally making millions. As I'm making this video now, as I'm about to upload this, as I'm about to put my hashtags, there are women who are making videos which is just 5 seconds showing their assets. So it's a change where women are making more money, but just from the click of a button, more easier, where you've got guys who are still going the more traditional way of, like, they're working like hard labor jobs to get their money, work on their craft, work on their skill, and then after a certain time are building their level to become a provider. Whereas a lot of the women today, especially the worst thing in our community, is they pretty much, like, they don't have their dignity. You understand? Like, it's very easy just to strip off your clothes and just show yourself, like, on the internet and make a gazillion amount of money. You understand? But I don't feel like these are the women who are set to be in that fat traditional family, hence why they end up becoming single mothers. But that's enough for me. Yeah, Brain. Let's continue.
And the question?
And the question is, women are struggling to find men that they can date.
Okay. Couple things. Number 1, black women cannot, shall not, should not expect a black man to be able to provide them with the same type of a lifestyle that a Caucasian can provide for the white female. Because the Caucasian benefits from white privilege, the black man suffers from white racism. So we should not be, no sister should be looking for a European equivalent or an African equivalent of a European. A black man has to work twice as hard to get half as much. So although I can appreciate the financial equity, but if you are a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer as an African woman in Australia or America or the UK or Toronto or Johannesburg, looking for a black man who has financial equity with your type of career success, that's going to be difficult. You might
shout out Dr. Umar just talked about Toronto. Yeah, it's exactly what I was saying. It's very difficult, of course, it has changed now. We're in this 2025 modern era and there, but they're still in places, and someone speaking for myself, for other black people in Canada now, is definitely difficult. I'm telling you, there's some rooms, and I know this, where you go in and you're the only black person, and you've got to be on point. You got to be on point in all areas, because once they judge you, they're judging for sometimes your whole race in that moment. So, and again, I'm not someone who uses that as an excuse, because I always believe the cream rises to the top. Quality can outshine any type of someone trying to put you down. If it's good, it's good, but you have to say like that stuff does happen, but just don't let it discourage you, folks.
I have to tone it down a little bit. What I find as a therapist who works with couples, married, divorced, and otherwise, too often black women prioritize a man's income over his masculinity, meaning he can provide. He's willing to help with those children. He will nurture you, look out for you, but he might not be able to put you in a Mercedes. He might not be able to help you with that $1 million mortgage. And I've seen black women turn down good men, very good men, because he didn't have the economics, but he had everything else. Sisters need.
All right, you could see the sister. She was even agreeing, like, she even knows from her view that she's seen that all the time. I've mentioned it again and again on many videos. If you go back on the other ones, who are the ones I always mention, Rich Team? It's always Michael B. Jordan, Marquise Brownlee, it's like Wayne Brady. I want to say Will Smith, but he was there. But I mentioned those three, and why I mentioned those specifically is, if we just put the spotlight on Michael B. Jordan, there was a time Michael B. Jordan wasn't doing about shit. Like, they got a new Fantastic Four movie. Some people don't even know Michael B. Jordan was in Fantastic Four. He was in the Marvel Universe before he made it big as Killmonger. He was pretty much a square. Like, what I mean is square as well is, to a lot of like black women, they see him as his corny and like that. He was doing well, like he was making money, but he never became this leading. He wasn't at that leading man status till really only 7 years ago when Killmonger and the Creed movie came out. So what it is, Michael B. Jordan is the best example of, again, he's a black guy who doesn't have a fuckish bone in his body. He speaks well, good looking guy, a leading man. There are black women to this day, and it's the majority. It's not all of them, but it's the majority. They will see Michael B. Jordan as like he's a square, and there's just the ones who basically see him like that. They're the same ones, if they now see Michael B. Jordan with like a hot white woman who respects him, who would have been with him from the beginning, they want to they start bashing him. They want to start ragging at him like, yeah, you can't handle a strong black woman. Is bullshit. I've said it many times, it's bullshit. And what Dr. Umar, imagine Umar, who is like Pan-African, like Nubian queen, he has even realized it. He's a marriage counselor, so he's seen it many times of where these broken homes are coming from, because a black woman really believes that most of these black women that he's talking about, they need a Mercedes, they need to be in the Ritz restaurant, just like my man Jamie Woolard said. Do you understand? So it is something that is very predominant in the community. I don't think it's gonna change unless really black men really see, like, I'm not saying step out, level the fuck up and understand your value, understand what your worth truly is.
Sisters need to be careful not to fall into this European narrative of judging men primarily by how much they make.
I can agree with that. I think that these are two extreme scenarios here, because I think if a man we're talking about financial equity, if he is making enough to build a household with you, to be a leader in the household, I think women are okay with that. I think that's not what they're getting. I think they're getting the other end of the spectrum. That's what we're hearing. You know what I mean?
Would you have a problem if you met a man who made half of what you made or a third of what you made, but he had a financial vision of an empire, a business, some sort of an entrepreneurial undertaking?
See, I think that's dangerous.
Stay with me.
I think that's dangerous.
Let me finish it, and then I want you to...
All right, I'm going to pause it, because it's not too much long, folks. But what Umar is basically responding back to this woman and talking to this woman about is that for some people to make this like kingdom or empire, it takes years. Rome was not built in a day. When you see what Tyler Perry has done in Atlanta with his studios, his film studios, is phenomenal. Tyler Perry was broke as a joke. I'm telling you, this guy was living in his car, he was going to auditions, he had to really grind, but it took years and years of grind and perseverance to get to that stage that he is now. The modern woman today, as I mentioned these things before, and again the impact of social media, where their friend can see, they could go on social media and see their friend, maybe their husband bought them like a new Mercedes, or they bought them like a new pair of a Gucci bag or something. Those comparisons really affect the sisters today, and I'd say it's not even some, the majority of women, especially in our community, do not have the patience. I'm telling you, even if you're masculine, if you hit all those ones, you're 6'4", 6 down there, you're all of that. If you are not bringing those financial notes, they do not want to waste time with you. Boom.
Respond. And he needed you to help invest in his dream. And he gave you a definitive timeline. He said, give me 12 months or 24, no more than that. If you invest in me, I promise you what I'm going to build will equal where you are. Would you have a problem investing in him?
What does investing in him mean?
Let's say he needed $700 a month to help fuel this dream. He needed $700 for 24 months. Could you do it? You're reluctant.
I am reluctant because what's the guarantee?
There is no guarantees in love. There is no guarantees in romance.
And also,
it's an interesting point he brings up, because I don't believe in so many cases. So I don't believe in so many cases where, like a woman, especially this day and age, is going to be patient for the man. Like I remember Ryan Coogler talked about, like, even when he started his like ascends into like film work and directing, it was this woman who supported him. So there are those exceptions that happen.
Context matters. How long have we been together?
I agree.
You know, if it's just a guy that I met last year and all of a sudden he has these dreams and he wants me to fund it.
Y'all been dating for about 2 years. You like him. There might even be some love there. And he's saying
there might be some love there is crazy. There has to be some love there.
Let's say there is.
Has to be a future there. And I think that's what I'm saying. Context matters. If I see myself with this man.
But you didn't answer the question. Let's say all those things are there. Will you financially invest in him? Be honest, my queen. They already answered for you. They said hell to the nizzo.
Yeah. Look.
Why?
See? So that's the end of that video. Said to really summarize that, what he was basically saying is that a lot of times, especially with our culture and our women, is they're not patient enough to wait for a guy who has a vision. He doesn't have like all the answers now, but will someday. A lot of them ain't patient enough. I believe the generation of possibly my parents, like let's say 20, 30 years, it was a difference because like you weren't exposed all to this stuff on social media, whereas now people are always having these like options. So people, especially women, they don't have the patience for this. But when I always talk about a solution on this, and it's something I have to learn about this, is you have to be the best version of yourself for a guy. It is not enough to be average anymore. When you're seeing podcasts like this, even this woman, this the African chick who's now in Australia, even when Dr. Umar grilled her and said, would you be patient enough to wait for a man that you love for to kind of get himself together? And she didn't really want to say yes. Do you understand? So that could be like a real good guy who could become like a millionaire, possibly a billionaire, and build his empire, but she doesn't want to wait. And then she would get angry once this guy possibly jumps over the fence and dates a non-black woman. Do you understand? So you can't win, especially with them side. But the way you can win for you folks, especially for the men out there, level up, be the best version of yourself. Make sure that this year is your year, because it's going to be my year, and it's going to be every single member of the Rich team. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and just remember that success, oh yes, is a simple way.